3 months after the verdict, Sean writes to say he's ready to meet. I arrive at the diner where we met a year ago. It's Friday night. He walks in with a woman dressed in a white scoop-neck t-shirt and tight jeans. Her hair is dyed blonde with black roots. Her nails are pressed on and painted white at the tips. A larger black woman is already waiting for him, and they sit with her at a table near the door, where I join them. "Are you still into bondage?" Sean asks, motioning toward the blonde. "Because I think she likes you." "He showed me your website," the blonde girl says. "I like your writing. I like that line about a drop of blood in a glass of water." "I didn't write that line," I say. "That was a quote from somebody else." "When did you meet Sean?" "Today," she says. A group of black kids enter the diner, 1 and 2 at a time, some of them banging on the window, waving at the others before coming in. They're in their late teens and early 20s, and there are maybe 8 of them total. They stop by the table to say hello to Sean. "You must be Elliott," they say, shaking my hand. One kid has gold plating on his front teeth, another has thick black glasses with no lenses in them. He squeezes my hand hard, stares at me. He might be the youngest of the group, probably only 17 years old. His glassless glasses remind me of the disguise my father claims to have worn when he killed a man. But the boy's face, both tough and innocent, reminds me of Cat Eyes, my old roommate from the Homes. Sean tells them he got good news recently. The police are giving him back his guns. "Who are these people?" I ask. "I know people," Sean replies. He looks straight at me, his hands folded on the table, as if we were having a staring contest. "What do you consider consent?" The woman says. The woman next to Sean says to me, "Do you think you have the right to write about people who don't want to be written about?" "It's complicated," I say. "But if I contact someone and tell them I want to write about them, and they meet with me, I consider that consent." "He has my consent," Sean says. "I told him he could write about me in an email." He smiles as if he has nothing to do with this, as if he was as surprised by the question as I was, and hadn't orchestrated this evening's event, as if we both just walked into some absurdist play together. Sean unbuttons his shirt. He has 2 large scars beneath his chest, as if he had once had breast implants, and more scars on his stomach. "I've been wasting away," he says. "I'm sick with something. I've lost 30 or 40 pounds, even though I eat like 8,000 calories a day." "You look fine," I say. Sean leaves his shirt open, inviting me to stare at his hairless pink skin and all his marks. "So," he says, "what do you want to know?" The black woman leaves. I should leave, but I don't. I ask him why he confessed to 8 murders, and he says the district attorney asked about them. The DA had heard through Hans somehow. It contradicts earlier statements he made, and I tell him that. I ask about the girl he may have murdered, why his mother and her boyfriend can't remember a child dying in the woods. He says they were hippies, and they were doing drugs. Also, they don't like talking to the police. I ask him about the extra-legal organization. "What extra-legal organization are you talking about?" "You want to know the name of the extra-legal organization?" "Yes, I do." "Hey guys," Sean calls out. He wants to know the name of an extra-legal organization. The boys shamble over from their tables and surround me. They take positions behind me and to my right and in front of me behind Sean, all of them talking at once, like a parody of a Greek chorus. It's like the group homes all over again. I feel something resembling fear, but I've been afraid so many times I'm used to it. One kid says, "What do you mean by that? What's extra legal?" That's what I'm trying to find out. That's what I'm asking. "Talk to me," another says. "Look at me. What are you talking about? Make me understand." "You heard of Chauncey Bailey," one of the kids behind Sean says. "He got killed because he was trying to report shit he wasn't supposed to." "Are you threatening me?" I ask. "Are you trying to intimidate me?" "Why do you keep writing stuff down?" the girl sitting next to me asks, letting out a lazy laugh and leaning her shoulder toward my shoulder. Hey, Sean says. We don't want to surround him and be threatening. The boys move noisily back to their tables by the windows. Sean starts speaking in a low, menacing voice, squinting, almost spitting. He talks about Nina, the pain he carries, asks me if I know what he's been through as a result of things Josh and I have written about him. He says people stalk him, accost him near his home. I doubt it, I say. I haven't published anything about you yet. Sean says he doesn't believe me. The girl presses her leg against my leg and I move away from her. Am I making you uncomfortable, she says. Why do you keep moving away from me? Everybody gather around, Sean says. I want everybody to hear this. He's speaking really loudly. He wants the entire restaurant to hear him. The boys come over again. I hereby withdraw my consent for this story to be told. I remove consent. You do not have consent to write about me. You don't have a person's consent, you can't do it, the blonde girl says. I got it on tape, one of the kids says, waving a small black tape recorder. You don't have consent. After seeing Sean, I go to a friend's house. The same woman I kissed whom I met at the conference in Portland last August. She's packing her things, preparing to go to the Democratic National Convention. It's almost 2 in the morning and I lie on her couch, too angry to sleep. He set me up to be intimidated, I say. It was ridiculous. You can stay here, she says. She means in the living room. I don't stay, though. I go home. Sean changed his mind about being written about. I told him several times he wouldn't like how I portrayed him. Maybe he was just realizing what that meant. Not that I would show both his good and bad sides, but that I would show a version of him he wouldn't recognize. Someone that had little in common with how he saw himself. It was too much control to give away. He wanted to tell his own story. In an interview with 48 Hours, soon after our meeting, he admits he made the whole thing up. He says he was at least partly responsible for one death, maybe more. He says he pulled the number 8.5 out of thin air because he didn't want to testify. Did you confess to killing 8.5 people to try and help Hans? The interviewer asks. I can't answer that question, Sean says. And I wonder if he can't answer because he doesn't want to incriminate himself or because he really doesn't know. I'll stop there. Thanks.